Good afternoon, everyone. We want everyone to go ahead and grab your plates and sit on down, and we'll get started with our business today. All right. All right. Thank you all for joining us today for the Eddie Jackson 220 Quarterback Club. Y'all doing all right? All right. We're going to start out a little bit on the somber side, and then we're going to ramp this thing up. I want everybody to give a quick moment of silence for a great rattler that we lost, Sammy Knight. Moment of silence, please. All right, if you don't know who Sammy Knight is, you probably wouldn't be in here if you didn't know who Sammy Knight was. But for those who may not know who Sammy Knight was, he led Godby High School to the state championship as a quarterback, went right on campus to the Rattlers and helped Coach Rudy Hubbard win the 1978 championship. And then the next year, he helped defeat University of Miami right over there at Doak Campbell Stadium. So Sammy Knight was a great Rattler. One of Sammy's famous moments, well, I should say infamous moments. One of Sammy's infamous moments, and it was, one day I'm going to play that video so you can hear Coach Amos Hill explain it. He talked about in the 1978 championship game, and y'all remember how windy that was. So Sammy was the punter, and Sammy punted a ball, and it went forward, and then it started coming back, and he ended up having to run it down. He was like a negative something punt. Coach Hill the late Coach Hill described it very well. So Sammy was a great athlete, a great rattler, homegrown right here from Tallahassee. So we make that tribute to Sammy Knight. I see our Vice President and Director of Athletics. She has been on the road. When I say she's been on the road, she has been on the road. So I have tried to sit down with her and get your list in front of her. She is finally back, so I can do that. I am going to pull some things out of that and address those. But as far as for what was in the meeting of the minds, in respect to her, she has not had an opportunity to evaluate your suggestions. So I will get that to her. So we want to be respectful of the fact that she has not seen that yet. So we will give her an opportunity. But thank you for joining us. All right, we're going to pass these around. For all of those who donated $1,000 on our Grand Rattlers or more, Sam, can you pass those around? This is what the T-shirts are going to look like that you're going to get. The Grand Rattler T-shirt. If you haven't seen Dr. Jackson, please get with our CEO before the end of the day if you're here so that she can get your sizes for the Grand Rattlers. And we just have a few of those. We're going to pass those around among the group. That's what we just got 3 to pass around. Take a quick look at it and pass it around. We have any former FAMU baseball players in here? Any former FAMU baseball players? Boss man hung around the team. All right, well, I don't know a diplomatic way to do this, so I'm just going to put them down, and whoever wants, you know, when I went to the American, raise your hand and say I'm going to give out the first 5. When I meant to, please get Selvin one. Sam, say one for Selvin, please. Behind you. What those are programs from the American Baseball Coaches Association. When Coach Costa Pop Kittles went in, the university actually sent me up there to cover that because they were stretched out, and I helped provide that coverage for the university. It was a great event that honored one of our greats. Everybody knows Coach Kittles. Started out as a Rattler football player and ended up as the greatest baseball coach in FAMU history. So I did like they do at funerals and everywhere else. When everybody leave, I went around scooping up as many programs as I could. I already delivered some on campus to Jamie Shoup and Brett and all those people. So I'm very proud of Coach Kittles and that accomplishment. We're going to bring up Selvin Cobb, Executive Director of the Rattler Boosters. Then I will go into some of the responses to some of the concerns that you had that we can answer here. And then we are hoping our guest of honor should be here shortly after that. We do understand it is signing day. So if he says he's popping in and popping out, we certainly understand that. So, Selvin? Oh, and before Selvin goes, real quick, we had a successful raffle for the mask, the African mask. So I got something else to raffle. I got 2 of these. These are the official Florida Classic coins. It has the certificate of authentication on it from the 2024 Florida Classic. Very nice item. I have 2 of them. I went around after the luncheon and collected them too. So we're gonna, and so to raise money, we are gonna put these up, tickets starting next week. We'll have both of them here.
I'll give you mine.
Okay, and we're gonna have these for a $5 ticket, and we're gonna pull next week. So bring your money, bring your cash, and we're gonna raise money that way as well. All right, Selvin.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. That get most people going. But we got a couple of things to say this morning. But before we get into that, I want to say happy birthday to Miss Nora James. She had a birthday this week, and I just wanted to say thank you for her, and thank you, Bruce. I wasn't gonna ask her age, but Bruce already told her how old she was. She already raised her hand. Okay. All right. And we got some people here we just haven't seen in a while. And one of them is Mr. James Matthews. James is he's recovering from knee surgery. And this is his first week back since 2025.
Thank everybody for their thoughts and prayers and calls and emails and everything while I was gone. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
All right. Now, we got a guy here who's a member of the Eddie Jackson Breakfast Club. We hadn't seen him in a while, but I won't call his name, but I'll just let you know that he is here, and we're glad to have him here as well. I ain't gonna call his name. Why is it a secret? Well, everybody knows him, so that's all I'm gonna say. Everybody knows him. Okay. I ain't gonna tell y'all who he is. Okay. All right. We're just going to get just a brief Rattler review. One of the things we want to start off with our women's basketball. Currently, we are tied for sixth place. We lost a real tough game here the other night. And we're to just know, we very well could have been in second place in the conference. Again, our next game is going to be Prairie View on February the 6th, and then we're going to going up to Prairie View on we're going to start off at Prairie View on February 6th. Then we're coming down to Houston to play Texas Southern on February the 8th. Those are our next two games, and of course they are away. Our men's basketball team, we're tied for fourth place with a 5-4 record. We just come off a 4-game win streak, and we lost. It was a tough game, but it was great. It was a great game. Guys are playing extremely well, and we had one player, Mr. Sterling Young, was named the SWAC co-player of the week last week. He averaged over 21 points per game, and so we want to congratulate him. And that's his second time winning the SWAC co-player of the week. So we want to congratulate him. Again, they will be playing Texas Southern on February the 8th, and on Monday they will be playing Prairie View at up in Prairie View. On our women's tennis, we're just getting started, and we played a lot of out of conference out of conference teams, and we just want to wish them well when they started into our SWAC play. They are 04, whatever, 04 for so far this year, but we're just waiting to get our first victory, and that's going to be our next game is going to be at Stetson in D-Land, and that's and that's going to be on February the 7th. That's this Saturday. Softball, we just getting ready to get started in the softball. And our coach, Coach Beal, will be coming out with their first inaugural team. And we want to go out and give them the best of the best thing that we can give them is our team spirit. So we want to go out to the Veronica Wiggins softball field. And I believe the first game is March the 2nd. I think I saw somewhere where it's going to be March the 2nd is the first game. So we want to go out and make sure that we're there for them. And believe it or not, FAMU is going to be playing FAMU. So how can we do that? Well, it's just going to have an inter-squad game. Do I need to explain that? Okay, but they're going to begin coming this Friday at it's going to be at Mercer. It's going to we're going to play at Mercer. We're going to play 3 games. Going to play 3 games up there. Play one on Friday. Then we're going to play on Saturday. We play one at 11. And then we play one at the last game at 1:30. Okay, that was it. Our bowling team, they're at the SWAC Roundup in New Iberia, Mississippi, and that's this coming weekend. Couldn't find any other things on the wire, but we just want to say we want to encourage everybody to come out and support our favorite Rattler team. Okay, thank you. One other thing, Bill raising his hand, but Bill, if I could take the mic back there, I'll let you do it. But I can't take the mic back there, so I know why he's raising his hand. But first, before I make this announcement, we will be having our Rattler Booster meeting, which is 7 o'clock next Tuesday. 7 o'clock next Tuesday is our annual meeting, and we will be having it next week. But before that, I just want to say that, as I always say, as the preachers would say, membership is always open. Okay? And if you don't know, I can give you this website, and you can go online, and that's www.famurattleboosters.com. And if you want to do that, you can go online, join at that point, or if you're simple enough where you still write checks, you can just write a check. It's $100 annual fee, $300 Venom, $750 lifetime fee. And you want to write checks, you can write it to, again, FAMU, Rattler Boosters, Post Office Box 5865, Tallahassee, Florida, zip code 32314. Okay? All right. Okay? Joe? I'm gonna repeat that. I'm gonna repeat that. If you're simple enough, that means you still write checks, like I do. I'm gonna put me in there. If you're simple enough, or you still write checks, you don't go online to fill it out or do all those things, then you could do that. You can simple enough to write a check for us. Okay? We accept checks. We accept any other kind of payment that you could make. We'd accept all of those. Okay? Yes. Okay, we accept checks anytime you will write them. Okay? But our fiscal year begins July 1. I mean, I'm sorry, July 1, July 1 to January 30th. I mean, I'm sorry, June 30th. Okay, July 1 to June 30th. Okay, that's our fiscal year. Now, if you want to feel like you want to write a check and you want to get ahead of the game, yeah, you're more than welcome to go ahead and do that. But that's our fiscal year. We won't charge you again if you wrote a check now, and we won't charge you again on July 1st. We wouldn't do that. Okay? All right. Now, I see that some of our guests have come in, and I know we have one already, so I'm now going to turn it back over.
All right, thank you. All right. You know, I have people that tell me things. It's like they make a suggestion, but when they tell me, I already know it's an order. And Ms. Norwood came and sat down next to me and said, next Wednesday, it's close to Valentine's Day, so we need to celebrate Valentine's Day. And she told me what she wanted for the menu and all of that. So my part is we will celebrate our Valentine's meal next Wednesday, and thank her for that, because you know, with us, things just go by. So that's why we have good, smart women around us. Thank you for that. And so, before we get to Coach Colzie, no, I think I'm going to change the order, because we know what today is. What's today? Signing Day.
Women and girls sports day as well.
And it's Women and Girls in Sports Day. So this is what I'm going to do. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to have the athletic director back so that we can dig into those questions and concerns that you had. But at this time, I'd like to bring her up to bring greetings and whatever she would like to talk about. Our Vice President and Director of Athletics, Angela Suggs.
Thanks, Vaughn. And since our guests, plural of honor, are here, I don't have to do as much fluff and fill in. But hello and Happy New Year. I don't think I've been here this year, but we've been really moving about. And some of the highlights, of course, President Cobb just gave some of the scores and where we've been moving about in the success of our teams. I've seen many of you in the Lawson Center, and we look forward to continuing to see you for the next 6 home nights that we have. We have 2 of those Thursday, Saturday, Monday weekends remaining. And so we look forward to seeing you. The teams come back home on the 13th, and so we have the 13th, the 15th, and then that Monday, the 17th, and then we'll close out at the end of the month on the 27th of February, the 2nd, and then the 4th, that Monday. And so, yeah, yes, ma'am, and we're doing a spring homecoming on the 15th. We'll get a schedule out to you of some other events that will happen around that time, and that schedule should be coming out this week. We released the 2025 football schedule last Wednesday. We have 8 in the state, as we're saying, 8 games in the state of Florida. And so we'll start out, of course, in Miami, returning to the Orange Blossom Classic against Howard University. We were there last week, where we did a press conference about our return. And so we're really excited. There was a lot of support there. Mr. Ross from the Dolphins and Miami Grand Prix and Miami Open and all the other things that Mr. Ross has there. But of course, in terms of the support that comes from the stadium, as well as Mr. Ross and his holdings, the city of Miami Gardens, the leadership of Miami-Dade County, and then also throughout the Tri-County area of Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade. We will be with the leadership of those alumni chapters and boosters and other supporters, both Rattlers as well as HBCUs and its supporters of, that we'll be doing some local organizing committees and groups and looking at how, in addition to what we do with the football games, that we will be looking at other ways for us to be in the community and also raising resources for the program while we're there. And so we're excited again about that. It's a 5-year deal that has some escalations in it. We will come home and then we'll go back to Boca. So we'll go to Palm Beach County for FAU. And again, that's 8 in the state, 5 at home, 3 in Miami, in Boca, and again, we'll close out in Orlando. That closeout against, of course, Bethune-Cookman for the Florida Blue Florida Classic. That game will be the 100th contest, according to the records that we've seen, the 100th game of the FAMU Bethune-Cookman rivalry. And so we are the home team, and we are hosting this year. And so we're super excited about that as well. And so, Coach, you know what we got to do. With that, again, our teams are gearing up. Our spring teams are gearing up. Indoor track is coming to an end. And others, the SWAC basketball tournament is going to be in Atlanta, March 11th through the 15th. The March 100 pep band will be there from day one. Their Rattler cheer squad will be there from day one. And we are working toward both our men and women being in Atlanta, down near the airport in the Gateway Arena, March 11th through the 15th. And so we're excited about that. We spoke about softball, and while all of our spring sports are really, we're really excited about them, we spoke about Veronica Wiggins Field. Texas A&M is coming to Veronica Wiggins Field as a part of the FSU Invitational. And so some of those games will be played on our field, some of the games that we play. So we'll be hosting these. We will start out playing Florida State over at Florida State. And I just said, but we'll get those dates to you. But they are coming, and we'll get that information out to you. But we want everyone there. We want the hill full. We want the stands full. We want, as they come over in the fall, when South Alabama actually played Florida State at our field because they had a conflict with soccer, we got so many compliments. Oh my goodness, we didn't know what to expect when we got here. Well, yeah, now you know. And so with that, we look forward to hosting these institutions and all institutions that are coming as our teams move forward. We met with the head coaches this morning for our regularly scheduled head coaches meeting, and they all are committed to excellence. All righty. We are finalizing and buttoning up season ticket information. We look forward to having that information to you no later than next Saturday, February 15th. We had to take a look at a couple of things, and it's taking us a little bit longer because we want to make sure that it's where we need to be to get to where we're trying to go. What you'll also hear about is you may have heard about this NCAA settlement that is out there. Well, we are a Division I athletics program, and so it will impact us as well. And so we are packaging up that messaging for you so that we can communicate to you what that means for our Florida A&M Rattler program as well. And there are some costs that are going to be associated with that. But we want it to be right. We want to right-size the investment, particularly as it relates to tickets. And what we don't want to do, because I still have the 4 seats in box BB, section E, that my parents had when we first went into the stadium, and that I had children's season tickets and all of this growing up. Those are the same seats. And so we're there. And what I don't want to do is put the onus of the increase of the cost on those of you and us that have been supporting the program for 50 years, 40 years, however long you've been sitting in your seats. Because we do have empty seats. The stadium is now sold out in terms of season tickets. And so the way that we increase is not by putting the burden on the backs of the core. The way that we increase is by adding to the core. And that's what we want to do, is we want to renew and recruit. We want to recruit new season ticket holders just as much as we want 100% renewal of the current season ticket base that we have. So that's taken us a minute to really take a look at that across the program, and also make sure that we can actually have it as a revenue line and not so much of an expense line. Okay, so that's what I can say about that now. And I'll answer a couple of questions because I know the coaches have to get back. Yes, ma'am.
What is the value of the package for the Miami game? You know, how much will FAMU actually get?
Yes, ma'am. And so we will end the contract at $750,000 to the program. We will start the contract at $575,000. And we have escalations built up over a 5-year deal. Yes, sir.
His question was, the University of Florida game, was it a money game?
The university, actually prior to my arrival, we moved the game to a different year. So we still have the contract. The game was moved out to, I believe it's 2030. 300,000. So below Orange Blossom Classic. Yes, sir. $750. Just like with all the rest of the games, and so every game that we play, University of Miami, all of that, we're responsible for our transportation. Yes, ma'am. Right. Our goal is to always be above 3. That's not been where we were, but that's where we start. That's where we now start in terms of looking at negotiations. And so we do have a couple of games on the books that are at 3. They've been on the books for
and I extremely appreciate this group that I'm standing in front of, and obviously all the Rattler fans that are, that are on our live stream as well. But today is signing day, and also my first opportunity to be back here in front of the 220 Club. And just so you know, I knew it was time to be ready for the 220 Club because I have lost about 15 pounds. Since the season ended, I started seeing some abs again. I started feeling good about myself. And now the food over here to my right is going to change. It's going to change all of that. Now I will say this about Coach Maurice. He had a bologna sandwich in his hand about 30 minutes ago. And we slapped it out of his hand and went, hey, man, you ain't going to need no bologna sandwich today. Somebody's probably going to give you some food on the way out. But again, obviously, excited to be back here. Excited to be in front of you guys in this setting. Obviously, I've seen quite a few people outside of this setting, and it's always welcoming to see the hellos and the hugs and the well wishes. But I will let you know that we do have rules on certain people that we can talk about. Okay, so we just, and I want to just kind of give you those rules. Just start off with, even though we have guys that have committed, that are high school guys, if they have not sent in any of their documentation, we can't talk about them. Do you understand what I'm getting at? We have done some PWOs on some guys that are high school guys, and we've done a really, really good job in that aspect. We can't talk about them until they step foot on campus. Okay, so I just want to, if you feel you have to ask me about somebody, and if there's a reason why I don't talk about them, I've kind of given you those reasons first and foremost. Okay, so I'll start offensively. Obviously there's 2 recruiting seasons that we have right now. We got signing day that we have today, and then we have our portal signees that are already amongst us. Okay, so when I start talking about our offensive recruiting class, I'll start about our quarterbacks. Got a young man by the name of Tyler Jefferson. He's a transfer from Central Michigan. He's a byproduct of Lake City, Florida. He will have 3 years left. Another young man that we signed, he's an Indian. He's from Indiana, and he's a graduate, a man by the name of Roman Purcell. Now, both those guys are already on campus, in class, ready to go, already lifting. Running backs, if you guys could tell the success that we had at our running back position, we only lost one. Right? We lost Wu Dean, and we were able to replace him with Jamal Haley, a 5'11", 190-pound running back. And he's another transfer from Western Michigan. Wide receivers, as special as they were, right? We only lost one. We lost Jamari Gasson. And obviously everybody knew how important he was to the program, but we were able to bring in 3 guys, Jordan Parker and Kanari Wilcher. Jordan Parker is a young man from Western Michigan. Kanari Wilcher is a young man from Illinois. Those are 2 guys that are both, again, Division I transfers. Our high school guy that we did sign, excited about him. He's from Hillsborough High School. His name is Moses White. I am able to discuss him because he's a young man that has already turned in his grant in aid. Our tight end, we lost 2. We were able to bring in 1, a young man by the name of Gavin Hill. He's coming from the University of Florida. He's got 3 years. Big old joker. Saw him walking in the parking lot today. He almost dented my darn car. So, offensive line, we obviously lost a few guys, right? And we were able to sign 2. Right? We were able to sign 2. Big Moselle Williams coming out of Rutgers, and then we were able to sign another young man by the name of Chigozie Okiki coming out of Iowa Central. So, in the grand scheme of things, right, we have 7 offensive guys that are returning from our football team. 7 starters, 7 guys that started for us, and so in our recruiting process, we were more so about trying to make sure we wanted to get the right people, right? We wanted to make sure we get the right fits. When I speak overall numbers, especially if I speak, let's just say I'm speaking about 365 days today, and then I'm talking about 365 days ago compared to today. 365 days ago, we had 56 players on our roster. 2024, on this day, we had 56 players on our roster. Portal guys, guys that we lost from graduation, et cetera, et cetera. Right now, we are sitting with 93 guys on our roster right now. And that just, that speaks volumes as far as, believe it or not, we didn't lose any of our big-time players in the portal like we did last year, right? really, really important players that are still on our roster, guys that are, coming back, all conference players, players that were All-Americans throughout this past season. So the cupboard is not bare, right? So when you think about, coach, you still need another offensive lineman here and possibly a quarterback. Well, we're going to be able to decide and make that determination through spring, right? So we'll have that opportunity to do that. And believe me, we know that. We didn't want to just bring in anybody. We might have fell victim to that last year. Offensively, we wanted to make sure we brought in the right pieces. So we did that. Also on the offensive side, I needed us to get faster. I need us to get faster. I mean, and so a guy would come in and one of our coaches would be, hey, coach, got a running back. He's this size and he's this weight. My next question was, can he run? Because if he can't run, he can't play for us. Right? If he can't run, then he can't play for us. So, again, offensively, thought we did a good job. Thought we did a very, very good job identifying needs, getting specific players for our needs, right? Still got to make some evaluation, but I like where we are on the offense side. I like where we are, but still need to make sure we plug in a couple guys, and then we'll do that through our transfer portal process once that opens up again in April. Now, defense, okay? Defensive line, we brought in 4 guys, right? We talk about defensive line, anchor of our defense. Got to make sure we take care of what? Make sure we stop the what this year? Stop the run. So now, believe it or not, our entire defensive line actually comes back. They're all back. Right now, that could be good for some people. That could be bad for some people, right? But defensive line, we were able to bring in 4 guys, okay? Bring in 4 guys, 2 defensive tackles. First one, DJ Jones, 6'4", 290, coming from Virginia, already here. He's got 3 years. Elijah Alexander, 6'4", 285, young man from Stetson, already has 3 years. Defensive ends, okay, we're able to bring in Xavier Perkins from Florida State. He's got 3 years left. He's 6'5", 240. And then we were able to bring in Johan Myers, 6'3", 240, a young man from Kennesaw State who's already a graduate. All 4 of these guys played at their institution. They weren't guys that weren't happy or didn't play at their previous institution. They played and decided that Florida A&M would be a better fit for them. Linebackers, all of our linebackers are back. Actually, we lost one. We lost Eric Horn, number 5, but every other linebacker on our defense is returning. Well, we signed one, a young man by the name of Justice Cross, 6'2", 215, from Florida Atlantic University, also Murray State. He is in our grad program. He has 2 years left, okay? Defensive backs. We brought in 4 corners and 3 safeties, all right? In my opinion, even though we finished second in the conference, in the SWAC, wasn't the standard on the defensive backfield. Needed to be a lot better. Now again, got some guys back. Obviously, we lost one of the best in the country in Kendall Bowler, but we brought in 7 defensive backs. 4 corners that we brought in. Chase Dexter coming in from Air Force. Caleb McKenzie coming from South Dakota. Dalen Distant coming from East Carolina. Jaden Bradford coming from Florida State. Safeties, Taquan Latimer from Charlotte. Jalik Thomas from App State. Deion Village from Tennessee State. All 7 of those guys are obviously being counted on to contribute, to go along with our returning starters. So offensively, we returned 7. Believe it or not, defensively, we returned 8 to go on top of these guys that we brought in for this class. And then last but not least, believe it or not, the emails and the text messages that I get the most on are on offense and defense. Who do you think people ask me about the most? They're on special team. Who's going to kick the football? All right, so believe it or not, we do return our long snapper. He's one of the best in the country, but we were able to bring in 1 punter, 2 kickers. Our punter, Alexander Davis, #1 punter in the SWAC. He was the #1 punter in the SWAC. We're able to bring him. He's got 2 years left. Able to bring in 2 kickers, Cooper Baddix and Andrew Abu-Akel. Cooper Baddix is 5'10", 185. He has 3 years left, and then Andrew Abu-Akel has 4. So for the most part, when I look at our recruiting class, who we've signed, one of the biggest things that I'd like to do was making sure we went and got guys from the state. 17 of our 23 signees are from the state of Florida. They're from the state of Florida. Okay, so we were able to attract guys that have maybe went to other places, and whatever the case may be, they wanted to come back to Florida. We helped them pack, and we brought them back to Tallahassee. So it was extremely important to do that, right? Extremely important to do that. It gave us a great opportunity to come into the high schools, getting back, and we've spoken. We were heavy portal over the last few years, right? And I hopefully we're able to get the, some of the high school guys that we're definitely interested in have not, it's a long day. It starts in the morning, and then it goes into the evening as far as guys determining where they may go. We have 2 people right now that it's either Florida A&M or another institution. If they know better, they know they should definitely be coming to Florida A&M. If not, they're going to play us, and they're going to get the bus beat. So it's up to them on whatever decision they may need to do. I want to give a couple thanks, and I know, Kevin Maurice came in December, brought his fiance, and he hit it running. He hit it running. I mean, we're bringing portal guys in, and he was acting as if he had been doing it here for 3 or 4 years, and he hit the ground running, right? I want to say thank you to him for being able to just understand the importance of recruiting, understanding the importance of making sure our guys are comfortable. Our new offensive line coach, right? You'll be able to meet Big Cedric Williams. Did a great job. Another guy hit the ground running, right? Recruiting, let's get it done. Let's make sure we're happening. Let's make sure we're getting the right guys. All of that. As a new coach coming into a new program, 2 guys again hit the ground running, had acting as if they had been here before. But when you come into this program and you want to win and you want to get the right people in, he gets it and understands the importance of understanding the brand that Florida A&M bestows, and understanding that we also have to make sure we bring in the right people to this program. Again, this was, when did you get here? December, was it? Yep, December 9th. And understanding the culture, obviously, he knows how important Florida A&M is. We were supposed to play y'all in 23, but y'all weren't good enough. Is that what it was? I think that's what it was. But been a part of championships. But understanding, got here, coach, what do you need? What do you need? How do we need to handle it, right? So, again, credit to him, credit to Cedric Williams, our general manager, Mr. Ray Matthews, who's done a hell of a job of just monitoring a lot of things that people don't realize how important it is to our guys. If there's something going on, Mr. Matthews, I need you to get this done. He does it for me. He don't ask any questions. Well, let me stop there. He does ask questions. But then he just gets it done. All right, so again, please give a round of applause to Mr. Ray Matthews, our general manager, because again, a lot of things go unnoticed that he does for me, and especially for our guys. Round of applause for Kevin Maurice, if you don't mind, for hitting the ground running and making sure all of our recruits are doing what needs to be. You'll get a chance to see Coach Cedric Williams. You'll get a chance to meet Coach Vincent Jeffries, guys that we have added to our staff. Now, on the other note, right, defensive coordinator, he ended up going to the New England Patriots. I was hoping to have our staff complete. He gets an amazing opportunity to go to the New England Patriots, and believe it or not, the last couple of days, we've been fine-tuning to find out who that person's going to be. And I know you were getting ready, I already know you were getting ready to ask me over there in the corner. I beat you to it. I know, I beat you to it. I know, I beat you to it. All right, but again, I've given you a lot of names, right? Everybody minus the high school kid from Hillsborough High is already here. They're already here. They're already in Tallahassee. Today's an off day, but they've already done 14 lifts, right? They're getting ready for our fourth quarter drills that are going to start in 2 weeks. They're ready for March 7th, which is going to be our first day of spring practice on that Friday. They're already ready to be a part. We're going to go back to our orange and green game and have a draft on April 12th. We'll have our spring game April 12th. Yes, it won't be at 1 o'clock. We're going to make it at 4 or 5. I know were you the one that? Yeah, 4 o'clock. All right, we ain't going to do it at 1. I can't, Coach Maurice and I, we can't get any darker. So we're gonna make it a little later. Okay? But that's where we're at. All right, so, we are again, we are way ahead at this stage this year than we were last year. The standard is a standard. We understand that. Championships is where it's at. Got an amazing schedule. We play some really, really good football teams at home. We play some really, really good football teams in the road. Excited about where we're going. Excited about our season. I'm even more excited for the 2 months of questions that I've missed that I'm getting ready to entertain in the next few minutes. But again, thank you for everything.
Okay, Coach. Well, I got a mic over here, so pass it on. Okay, my question is this.
Yes, sir.
with the new AD coming in,
Yes, sir.
and we will have supposedly a new president
Yes, sir.
by fall.
Yes, sir.
Will you have a part, or will you sit in on the interviewing and all of that of the new president? Why not?
Believe it or not, there's the option to do that.
Yeah, the AD would,
Yeah, there is that option to do that.
right.
I'm gonna be getting ready for a season when all that's going on. I don't. If I had the
Well,
opportunity,
the reason
maybe,
I asked that
but,
question-
that's above my pay grade as far as
Right,
who they
right,
hire.
I understand that.
But
But that way you will have on the selection of,
I have nothing to do with the selection. I don't.
Well,
I
I
promise
would
you
think
that
so.
they are not going to ask me.
no, they're not going to ask you, but I
Okay,
would
but
think so.
but if I had the opportunity, and because they give you the Zooms, you have the opportunity to sit in on the interviews and things of that nature. I promise you, if I have the time and I'm not busy with our team lifting, mat drills or practice, I'll definitely try to do so. But I feel just being around the search and being around, they're going to ultimately make the right decision for what's best for the university. I can't lie.
Good afternoon, Coach.
How you doing, boss? Good to see you again.
Good to
and,
see
and,
you.
Hey, and it was good to see you again too. I didn't mean not to say that to him.
Coach, I'm wondering, sound like you changed a lot of your coaching staff. Did you do that to change the culture of the team? You trying to improve from the coaching point of view? What was the reason for the big turnover on coaching?
And that's a great question. That's a great question. And I'll say this. I was named the interim January 1st, the day after, 10 minutes after Coach Simmons made the decision to go to Duke. 10 minutes later, I was called by our former AD to be the interim, right? And Coach Simmons gave me his approval and all those things about me possibly being the head coach. Not gonna delve back into what happened from January 1st all the way to when I was ultimately named the head coach. But when I was named the head coach, it's extremely tough to be plucking people from staffs at that time. It's for one, to be honest with you, it's somewhat unprofessional, and believe it or not, part of me taking the job was also making sure I kept our staff, some of the remaining people on our staff. Well, you go through a whole year, right? You go through a whole year. You're the head coach. You're looking from the outside, outside in on certain things. Well, I needed guys that I've known since 1999. My DB coach, I needed guys that I've coached, since 2000. I've known since 2007. There's a reason when guys become head coaches, they surround themselves on the staff of people that they truly, truly know. And even some of the additions that we have now, right? I know them, or I've had people that I've known that know them and give them really, really good recommendations. So it's not about changing the culture. I wouldn't say necessarily that, but I would just say I needed to get my staff surrounded with people that I truly, truly feel or believe will deliver my message on a daily basis, right? And that's where right now, Coach Patterson, love him to death. I was here for, I'm getting ready to start my 4th season. If he would have stuck around or stayed here, he would have been here with his 5th, right? We won some championships. He was a D-line coach before he became the defensive coordinator. He got a great opportunity to go to the New England Patriots. Great opportunity. And again, as he mentioned, he doesn't go to the New England Patriots if he's not able to show what he knows here. Right? So that wasn't a culture thing. That's a man that's going off and, having a better opportunity in his eyes, right? So, but I got to make a change, right? He told me last week that he was going to be going. We did an interview yesterday, and then we did an interview on Monday on his replacement, right? So it's the nature of the business. But for me, I needed to surround my staff with people that I felt were going to do what I needed it to do at all times. And I'm not going to say that they didn't do that last year. They did do what I wanted them to do. But again, surrounding my staff with people that that I could truly, truly say that I believe in and trust, and they're going to deliver what I want them to deliver every single day.
Coach.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Oh, how you doing, boss?
With respect to the defense and
Yes, sir.
defensive coordinator, is the frequency of your types of defensive stunts going to be specific to the coordinator that we're going to get, or you?
Me. But we having the ability to change coaches, right? But our systems are in place. Now again, coordinator, we're gonna talk. We'll have some conversation about certain things. There are some things that I want to make sure that we're doing defensively this year that we did not do last year. All right, that we did not do last year, which would again be more of me, right? And I'm a defensive guy. Just so y'all know, I'm a defensive guy. I've been a coordinator for double-digit years. Have won championships as coordinators, right? But last year as a head coach, I couldn't do both. It's impossible to do both. It's impossible, right? There were so many different things that I had to learn as a head coach. I mean, of this university. Been a head coach before, yes. Second stint doing it, but being a head football coach at St. Mary's University, a little bit different than maybe being a head football coach at Florida A&M, where you could coordinate, where you could be the head coach. No, couldn't do that last year, and I chose not to do that. All right, so but ultimately this year, right, systems in place. Yes, we'll be coaching a heck of a lot more on the defensive side, but understanding what still the number one thing that I have to make sure I do first is be the head coach of this amazing university.
Coach.
Yes, sir.
We understand that the strength and conditioning coach is gone.
Yes.
Is the nutrition program stable, and is it solid?
Well, I mean, for it to be solid, you're going to need a full-time dietitian. You got at this level, right? At this level, there's full-time dietitians. I remember somebody making a comment about, I think it was either North Dakota State. Was it North Dakota State was playing somebody in the national championship? I don't remember where the comment came from, but it was on Twitter. You know how sometimes you get on Twitter and somebody made a comment about North Dakota's strength and conditioning staff and how strong they were and things of that nature. Well, then when you go online and you look at North Dakota State, they got five full-time strength and conditioning coaches. They have a full-time dietitian. Like, that's their job, right? So for me, to answer your question, for us to be, for us, and I mean, I'm just giving you at our level what it is now. Because at the FBS level, how many strength and conditioning coaches? What, double digits? Double digits, 3 or 4 dietitians, where there's one person specifically for football, right? But so I think for us to be full, like that's where we may need to go to. Now, food-wise, to answer your question, yep, I think my understanding, because Angela and I have been in constant communication about that position. Again, another opportunity for Cole to go on, and he left here and went to Arkansas. Great job, great opportunity, right? So, but Dre, who's picked up the pieces and is handling that right now, that would have to be a conversation I think that I need to have with him to see where we are. Our guys are always going to want to eat. I mean, so they always want to eat, right? Miss Suggs asked we had a team meeting on Sunday, and she's like, "Do you guys need anything?" And the answer was, they didn't say nothing about no financial aid. They didn't say anything about housing. It was food. They said food. Like food. I mean, it was an echo in the building because it was the sentiment for 70 of our guys, right? So, I would say the answer is no, right? But I think I specifically, I couldn't give you that answer, but I would just say that they would need more.
Yeah, we spent so much time from the 2 clinics trying to build the nutrition.
Yes, sir.
So I know that we would still be interested in trying to support that and strengthen it.
Well, the interns are there. The nutrition interns have been there, and they are doing what they would normally do as if Cole was there, right? As if Cole was there. I go in there and get me a sandwich every once in a while. They looked at me like I was crazy because Coach, you ain't supposed to be in here, right? But I do. There's food in there. They get what they need on a daily basis for what it's for, right? They coming in, making sure that they always have something to eat. That's not the complaint. I just think they want more. That's all. That's all. So to answer your question, yes and no, but I would to be specific, I would need to speak to Dre just to make sure.
Coach,
Yes, sir. How you doing, boss?
question about recruit.
Yes, sir.
I understand the portal. I understand that. But did we pursue Gaston County High School, I know they had 2,000-yard rushers.
Yes, sir.
Had some awesome defensive and offensive players. Did they not fit the pedigree for the makeup for your team?
Very good football players. I got a chance to go watch them play in the state championship game, and very, very good football players. But for us at this institution, okay, it's not just about football, right? There are certain academic standards that they have to have, certain test scores they have to have, right? And you know, so they might have been able to get it at the other institutions, right? But there are certain times when I get a transcript and a test score, and if it's not at the standard that our university wants, you get what I mean? Then I can't, right? I had a call from one of my buddies that used to be on this staff, that used to be on our staff, that is now at Florida State. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Left here, went to Colorado. Colorado went to Florida State. He called me, Coach, do we like this kid? What's his scores and what's his GPA? He already knew the question that I was going to ask. And then I didn't hear from him back until they tell me that he wasn't going to have it. So it's not. I mean, trust me, but I tell you, it is not about us not trying to recruit the people that are in this area, right? When I say that, believe me, we went after compared this year to last year, we went after more high school kids than we ever did, right? But you know, I go to Miami, and I'm from Miami. You know, I'm born and raised in Miami. My question, that you know, what kind of ends our conversations on some of the kids, right? What's the test score? What's GPA? Right? And you know what? COVID made a lot of our guys not even want to take the test anymore because it wasn't a requirement. What? At Florida A&M, guess what? It's required. It's required. And you know, you'll see a lot of Florida kids leave the state because they'll go to other states where the test is not required. So enjoy the games. I trust me, was cheering for him. Ms. Johnson wanted to make sure I cheering for him. Are you cheering for him? Absolutely. When I went to the game, I went up in the stands. Coach Colzie, how you doing? Great. Need y'all to win. You know, but to get to and it's not just Gaston. I want you to know it's not just Gaston. It's just, you know, there are times where our conversation has to change because we can't necessarily get them into school, and I don't want to hold them up. If they have other opportunities, by all means, I think they need to take those opportunities. But can they play? And then the academic standard. We are the #1 public HBCU for a reason, and it's not just athletics, right? It's I think mainly because of academics, mainly. So yes, what's up, big guy?
Coach,
Yes, sir.
I understand we lost our very active wide receiver coach. You got somebody in mind to bring in? Because AC was very active on the field. I was watching.
Yes, sir. We already brought in Vincent Jeffries, former Rattler. He's in the bill. He's been in the building. He's here. You know, and I'm pretty sure, as you guys know, not just in the football business, but when somebody, you know, has to go or somebody leaves, you know, you can't let nobody go and then not have somebody as the backup. So we already had that in place. Our offensive staff is filled. We're done on offense, right? OC, O-line, running backs, wide receiver, tight end. Defense is done. I got to find me a defensive coordinator to go along with Donald Reed, who left. He was our equipment guy. Cole, who left, strength and conditioning. Josh, who left and that was doing the media. So Miss Suggs is, believe me, she's got a lot going on as she's trying to complete this staff. But again, when you have success, when you're good at what you do, right? People gonna pluck you. So it's even more important, like for myself, that I gotta always have somebody just in case. I just didn't think Coach Patterson was going to the darn Patriots. That was the thing to me. And when he said, Coach, I think I got a chance to go to the Patriots, I was like, which Patriots? Which ones are we talking about, Vaughn? Could have been the American Patriots. I didn't know. He said Foxborough. What state is Foxborough in, you know? But credit to him. Excited for him. I just told him I'm an extra large and I might need a shirt every once in a while.
Coach.
Yes, sir.
Last year we led in transfer portal people. This year we're at the top of the list.
We're second.
Second, what's going to be different this year than last year? My second question, the kickers you brought in, can anybody kick it in the end zone? Because that killed us last year.
Well, which question you want me to answer first? Which one you want first? Both of them. Transfer portal, the biggest difference is that the 19 guys that we brought in compared to the 22 that we brought in is when we brought them in. The 19 guys we brought in are already here. They're going through off season. They're going through lifts. They're going through spring practice, right? They're going to be here for summer workouts. Where last year, the 22 that we brought them in the summer. Didn't know much about them, right? You know, we took some chances on some kids. Where this year, we were more diligent, talking about them, finding out who they are, you know, seeing if they were going to be the right fit for what we needed to bring in, right? So, I mean, and on top of that, they go with the other 70 guys that are already here with our program. So it gives us a lot more time to mesh. So I think that's the biggest difference. Secondly, those kickers that you asked about, the punter and the kickers, they aren't here because that was the second question that I asked them. I need to know hang time and how far you can kick the sucker. Okay, so all right, so to answer your question, yes, they're gonna put the ball where we needed to put them. They needed to be put last year, and you're 100%. It did more than kill us. It was worse than that at times, right? We weren't able, you know, we had a lot of drives that started on the plus side for the defense. So, great question. Now, you know, you could have just texted me. You don't have to ask me no question.
Well, you know, I'll dial you when
I
I
know
have
you
to,
will.
and I can't wait, but
Okay.
I'm going to ask this today.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Rattlers. And this is a Rattler who had a birthday on February 2nd.
Oh, happy
so
belated.
we share this February
Happy belated.
birthday.
Yes, happy belated.
Not only Groundhog Day, but Vicky's birthday.
There you go.
So on to my comments. I hear you say the status of the nutrition station needing to be staffed.
Yes.
But I also want to add, if you notice, I always talk about the concern of the players
Yes.
in terms of their state of mind, also in terms of their health. It's good to raise money. It's not one appeal that has been made that I didn't support.
Absolutely.
But just like you said, there are certain things you can't talk about on the air,
Right.
and you won't do it explicitly. But you know for yourself, you have players that have situations.
Yes, ma'am.
As I told Coach Simmons, these young men have to eat the right amount of food, but it has to be nutrition enough.
Yep.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and those snacks.
Yep.
And we have to some kind of way find a way, since we're raising all this money,
Yes, ma'am.
to make sure that they go back home to at least the basic needs that they have.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that we have all those nuances in place so that when they come off that field or on that field, we don't have to be complaining about why they playing like they playing. Because I know some of their state of mind is on what they have to go back to. So we have to learn to face those real problems and solve those for our players. And I'm not having a problem with helping to solve them. It's just that some of us don't want to talk about the real problems. And I'm concerned about our players. And Bruce, as a fellow Gadsden County, I knew that's what the problem was. We got to work on not only Gadsden, but our students' test scores and those transcripts and what they look like. Now, Prime got one, but that NIL money is what's going to steal them. But we got to focus on the real problems and come together to help solve them to get these things in a better state. So I just wanted to add that.
Well, thank you. And her, you know, just we communicate a lot, and we you know, we've had our conversations, and I'll give you something small, right? And maybe small in the grand scheme of things to them or to you guys, but we meet we ask our guys to be at the field house every morning. I mean, some guys are 5:30, some guys are 7:30. We practice. What time we practice, Vaughn? I know it's too early for you because you come see the late practice. You come at the end. But what time we on the field? About 6:10, you know. So this past semester, right? I made a request, and it was the Tallahassee alumni. They put some money into our account that allowed our guys just to eat breakfast after practice. Because if we don't, right, then what happens to them? They don't eat. Right? The guys don't eat after practice. Again, a practice that I'm requiring them to be at. Right? So, but believe it or not, to our guys, having a chance just to eat after practice is a huge deal, because half of our guys, right, they don't have meal plans. They'd rather have the money as opposed to being on a meal plan. And I can't tell them what to do. I can only make requests. I can't tell a guy to be on a meal plan. I can't tell a guy not to be on a meal plan. But like just having that opportunity. So now we're in spring practice. They're still getting there every morning, right? They're still getting there every morning, all right? But again, it was a big cost for us in the fall. It's a big cost for us in the fall where Mets who handles all of our food, they charge us, you know what I mean? So just a small thing like that for our players, whether it's a donation to help them eat in the morning, somebody coming by to cook breakfast in the morning, something, anything like that. And again, it might seem small, Vaughn, but I promise you, to our guys, just them having an opportunity just because, again, to eat in the morning, right? So that goes over. That goes over well for our guys, right? So you asked about the nutrition, right? Sometimes guys want some eggs and that Nutri-Grain, I mean, so, but, and that's just, again, a little sentiment for our players, and just kind of a thought, just trying to throw that out there to our guys, especially during the spring, right? Especially some of our new guys that have come from Division I programs, that when they're done with practice, they just go to meal plan. They just go in and go to their own individual cafeteria or whatever the case may be. We've done a good job with the portal. We've done a really, really good job of bringing guys in from other FBS programs. And, so you just really, really would like to possibly match their experience of coming from wherever they came from to Florida A&M. So we try to match that experience, because again, when you choose Florida A&M, this is what my selling point when these guys come Saturdays, right? The environment, the alumni, the ability to play in front of a national audience, the ability to have our brand nationally whenever we're on television, the alumni that loves this program and this university so much, that's the sell, and they get it, they understand it, they watch it, right? You come to watch us play on a Saturday, heck, you're sold. And you guys have heard me say that when we brought our recruits in, and they came watch us play Southern or South Carolina State. I didn't have enough scholarships to give out because of all the amount of people that wanted to come to the game. I wanted to come to our university. So you guys have done an amazing job, right? And I appreciate and applaud everything that you continue to do for our program, all right? But I just wanted to throw that out there that yes, and believe it or not, our guys want to eat. That's one thing our guys, they ask about all the time. Food.
All right, Coach.
Yes.
Right here.
Rory, my bad. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you, and congratulations on your recruitment.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. A two-part question. All the people you brought in, do they live on campus?
No. See, at the timing of when our guys come in, right? I mean, and as you guys know, we ended school December 20th, right, for Christmas break, and we went all the way to January 6th. And our university was closed. Like, I mean, when they closed, that's what they meant, right? That's exactly what they meant. So, but we also started classes on January 6th. So, for our guys to try to get on campus, or off campus, was tough, right? Because obviously it's in the middle of the semester, right? So a lot of people don't want to move. You know what I mean? So I would probably say 75% of our guys live off campus, and we were able to grab some, so 25% live on.
Okay. The second part had to do with football.
Yes, sir.
You said that you brought back the total defense team that you had last year. All four of those guys, they was not very disciplined last year. Are we going to deal with that this year?
No, I mean, our mantra this year, all right, it starts with details, right? The second slogan is discipline, and there's a reason, right? There's a reason for it, and when you come up with your slogans and all the other stuff, it's because you looked at how it looked in the fall, right? And and I agree with your sentiments, right? You know, we weren't as detailed as we needed to be, which then meant we weren't detailed, then we weren't disciplined, right? So, you know, and it wasn't just defensive line, right? We had quite a few guys that didn't do the right things. So, you know, giving us an opportunity to improve on that, right? Obviously, getting a chance to watch all of the things that you got a chance to watch. I watched every single play already from last year. Gonna finish. I got to watch him again. I started watching him again last night as we get ready for the season. So this is the time to not just build the team, but also make the proper corrections, right? So, you know, I think some of the guys that we brought, you know, Coach Mr. Matthews and I were talking about, and I hate to say this, but we were talking about some of our starters that were returning might not be starters when we start again. You know what I mean? But obviously, you know, you have to count the experience. You have to count the experience that we have on our football team. We have 35 seniors this year. 35. So now, again, have an opportunity for guys to earn a job. But to earn a job, you got to do the right thing. Got to be disciplined. If not, the guy behind you is going to be fighting for your job. So there's going to be a heck of a lot more competition to go along as well.
Coach.
You closing up? Or you closing up today? All right. Okay. Perfect. Open it back
Happy New Year,
up.
Coach. Happy New Year.
Good to see you again.
God bless you.
God bless you as well.
He asked part of my question. Can I ask a question about one of the players from last year?
Is he on the roster still?
I don't know. That's why I want to ask.
What's the name?
I don't know. His number was 71.
Oh, Ashton Grable. Big Grable. All-American, all-lineman.
Okay.
She's getting ready to ask about discipline. I already know. Because I can tell by the number. I already know what the number is. He's on the roster. Yes, ma'am.
He's coming back?
If you allow him, he is. We want him back. Now, do you want him back, Coach?
If you could take care of that discipline that he messed up on.
Yes.
All of them 15-yard penalties, then he can come back.
He had 4. That's 4
too many.
And 2 of the 4 were real big ones. And
yes.
I specifically remember them.
Yes.
He was an All-American. But believe it or not, in our exit meeting, we talked about that. We spoke about him being more of a leader, right? And leaders don't do the things that you're talking about. And
right.
So, you know, I didn't mention, you know, at the end of the year, you know, I spoke to every player. I spoke to every player, spoke to every coach, talked about the mission, talked about the journey. So, you know, you'll see a lot different football team, but it starts now. It starts now, right? I can't fix it in September. It's too late. It's too late. You know, and I again, you know, you're getting a chance to fully go through an entire year of getting ready, preparing. Because believe it or not, I mean, Ms. Suggs didn't do us any favors. Our schedule's tough. Right? I mean, people say, Coach, that's a good schedule. No, it ain't really a good schedule. Now. It's a tough schedule. We're playing Howard, right? Play Howard, play FAU, right? We play poor old Albany State, and Quinn Gray's gonna come in. Quinn Gray's gonna have him in here ready to go. I already know that, right? And then we have a bye week, and then we play 9 straight. So I know Ms. Suggs just left me, but I don't know if that's good. Yeah, it's good, but it's a tough schedule. It's a tough schedule. So little things like that, discipline, being where we need to be, we're going to be playing in a lot of close games, right? That's the anticipation. So the discipline is going to be mandatory. How are you doing?
Oh.
Good to see you.
Again, I'm concerned about food.
Yes, ma'am.
I worry about the discipline sometimes, but being from the hill where we had to fight literally and play aggressive, you know, some penalties don't bother me.
Right.
But when you're having practice, you say that there's breakfast.
No, so during the season, right, we were given a small donation from the Tallahassee Rattler, you know, alumni, and they gave us a donation that allowed my guys to eat breakfast. So whenever Mets charged us, we already had money in the account, right?
It has to be Mets food.
Well, I mean, on campus, yes, but if somebody came in and decided to cook for us, that wouldn't be a problem.
All right, this is a question for the powers that be in here.
Yes, ma'am.
That we've got to be able to do something to help out this. Are you willing?
Okay.
Somebody's got to step up.
Okay.
Be it boosters, 220, whatever. It bothers me when you have these players, you want them to tackle everybody, win everything, but you don't worry about their nutrition.
I'm still waiting
Okay.
for the question. It sounds like a statement
I'm
that
talking
you
to
gave.
the,
Oh, okay.
It is a statement.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
giving
Okay.
this
All right.
statement to all of the powers that be.
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody has got to step up. I don't mind. I'll put $1 or $2 extra somewhere, so that the money gets to where it should. But being a little person on the totem pole, I don't know how FAMU operates. I see a lot of stuff going on that doesn't seem so right, but that's not my
Well,
call.
and
So what can we do?
I will say this. I mean, I get asked a lot. My man right here, to my left, he asked me, what you need? I get, what you need? Coach, what you need? So, if I'm gonna, and I can't ask for everything. I can't ask for everything, right? But if it was one thing, and again, you guys know me. I don't need anything for myself. I'm doing just fine. But if it was one thing for my guys, it would just be being able to allow them to eat. I asked 92 guys to be there at different times during the day. More than likely 6, 6:30, 7 in the morning. And I can just tell, you eat, you go to class, right? It's a better transition as opposed to not lifting, then going home, right? We know we go home now. Hey, exactly. A good night, a good morning, whatever it may be. I have that's a Jennifer question. She handles all the bills. They don't let me see all the money because, but that's a Jennifer question, and I can get her to let you know what it is, all right? What it is, okay? Now again, let me go back. Now I want you to know our nutrition station is stocked, right? It's stocked. They come in whenever they need to get something, they come in, right? But having the chance or opportunity to eat after they lift so they can go to class. Right, that's the thing, because more than half our guys after practice don't have a meal plan. No, I mean, if they want to come in during the day and get a sandwich and all that, perfect, they do it. Bologna, I don't think it's bologna, but turkey breast, whatever, yogurt, they go get it. But as far as letting them eat after practice, that would be for me, for my guys. I can't sell for other sports, but for my guys, that would be greatly appreciated. Yes. Right. Well, I mean, we just brought this up as a conversation, you know what I mean? That was brought up, but yeah. Right. I mean, but our number is with 98 guys, where breakfast, lunch, and dinner are all 3 different prices. Well, okay, and that's like I said, that's a Jennifer question. My director of ops, who handles my budget, and I'd give her to give you a number today. Meal plan per person? Well, there's about 35 different meal plans on campus, right? So there's different. So I mean, it's if I'm doing 10 people, the number is pretty flat. But if I'm doing 98, the number's going to be a little different. Yes, sir. Anything else? We good? Thanks, everyone. Thank you, everybody.
Coach, we missed you. Thanks for coming back. We had to make sure you came back and didn't go off somewhere too. All right, not to belabor the afternoon, speaking of nutrition and budgets, this year, as we know, our $1 million campaign encompasses everything that we do. For nutrition, we've accumulated about 40,000 is accumulated for nutrition. We've accumulated over 60,000 in cash donations, which I'm going to add Booker Daniels and Faye Daniels, $500. Thank you. Harry Demps and Devin Demps, they're paying theirs on time. Great job. Another $100. And Ms. Hardy adds another $100. So to date, we are, with nutrition and our donations for the campaign, we're a little over $100,000. What we can't do is change course. When he's saying that they have the opportunity to come there and get that food, that is food from our nutrition commitment, and we have to keep that. That commitment is solid. It takes a great effort to keep that going. Great coordination. I can't thank Roy Moore enough and Piggly Wiggly for partnering with us the way they do to make sure that we can ensure that if a kid is hungry during the day, they can come get something to eat. Undertaking meal plans is a huge, huge lift. It's a huge lift. What I consider us doing is to continue in our campaign. Now we're in the phase where we've talked to some bigger donors about matching and bigger donations, so that phase will begin now. But we need to continue everyone giving toward the campaign, because as we have resources available, when things come up, we're able to address them. When we don't have the resources and something comes up, we are not able to address them. So what I'd like to ask everyone to do is continue to be diligent into the undertaking that we started as we move forward in this campaign to try to help our athletics department to be able to compete. What I don't want us to do is get distracted every time something comes up and say, hey, we need to do this. We're doing an umbrella project so that the athletic department, if they say that's important and that's their need, they may have another way to address the meal issue. So that's the only message I would say. We are here absolutely to support Coach Colzie and our young men out on that field the best we can. But what we can't do is lose focus that every time something comes up, we think what we started was wrong, because it was well thought out our plan for our fundraising campaign. Okay, Coach.
I told you it was just a quick text to Jennifer, our director of operations. But we paid the meal was $7.40 each for the fall, and then the total was $7,937.05, and that was just for breakfast on Tuesdays and Wednesdays right after practice. So that was the number that you asked for, $79.37.05 that would have been 12 weeks of us eating breakfast on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, which for the spring, right, it's a little bit different because we're not going to be practicing for 12 weeks, which is why when you ask for the number's going to fluctuate when it's the fall and the spring. You get what I mean? But that's what it was for the fall. So $7.40 each. The total was $79.37.05. So sorry about that, Bob. I apologize.
And we may very well get a request from the athletic department that if we can use some of the funds that we've raised for this. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying that we are not supporting this. What I'm trying to say is we promise to raise money for the athletics department, and we can't keep branching off. We continue to do our general fundraising, and we hope that what we're doing will be able to help situations like this. Okay. Are there any other questions? We're just over 100,000 with nutrition and. Okay, you're welcome. Okay. Go ahead. What? That comes in the nutrition. Yes. She asked how much was for the muscle milk, and that's included in the nutrition, and that's kind of our partnership with the boosters. We handle a lot of the food side, and the boosters handles a lot of the muscle milk. So it's kind of a partnership. We kind of tag team that. And one more thing, just a reminder that in March, we'll have those dedicated donations for the cooling station coming up starting in March, so we can make sure we have that set for the summer, because we got to get Coach Colzie and the boys cool. We got to make it feel like it did when that snow was here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll try to keep this brief. I just wanted to give you an update on what I requested last week. Kelvin Dean, I told you that I had gotten one donation, and I'm kind of matched it. We got 1 week paid. It was $800. And before I left here last Wednesday, there were 2 people that gave me $100 each. Another gentleman, and he told me it's okay to mention his name, Wilbur Murray from Atlanta. They call him Wham. He sent in $100 for Kelvin Dean, and he sent in another $100 for another rattler that we have down there, Mr. Goss, Jalen. And I have a video that the organization put together on Kelvin. I would love to send it to you all. I just don't know how. I've got it on my phone, and I've given a copy of it to several people. But I would love for you all to see this video and the great progress that Kelvin Dean has made in his weight, his speed, etc. And Trench Academy put it together. Now, here's something that I did not expect. They have matched the $1,100 given so far. The woman, Miss Kay, and her husband matched what was given so far for Kelvin. But thus far, we've only gotten 4 or 5 donations. And I know we ask a lot. But like I said, y'all, please, he's got about $5,000, Kelvin, in this program left. And the other young man, I talked to his mom and dad. They're from Valdosta, Georgia. The boy's dad is a preacher. He's got 30 people in his church. And so he took out a loan for the whole amount. So whatever we can do to help these guys, please, I ask you, I encourage you, please call me. I'll give you the number, the information for Trench Academy, and I'll give you my number again. It is, if you're ready, 850-294-7335. If we can get one of these boys into the pros, like I said, that's a big feather in our cap. If we can just get one of them, but we got a chance. Oh, and Jalen Goss, he's going to be playing in the Legacy Bowl on, I think it's February, it's around February 22nd, I think it is, somewhere around there. Okay. Oh, and the 30 people from the church are paying for his fees to go out there. So, you know, whatever we can do, $20, $30, just help us out. Help those boys out. And then we're going to turn our attention to this nutrition program. We're going to also turn our attention to that $1 million campaign, which I have given about $700. I got to put some more money into that. And I'm going to ask Colonel Joe to loan me a $300-400. All right, and last thing, if anybody's going out toward Ox Bottom Road, let me know. I need to catch a ride today.
Is that tax deductible? It is not.
And the reason that we are doing this, I know we'd all like to get tax deductions. Gosh knows I know that. But we can't donate this through the boosters. Those boys have graduated. Those young men. All right, I'm sorry. But they've graduated, so we don't want to violate any rules at all. That's why we're doing this independently. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
All right. Colonel?
We need to pretend that there are boosters here and that our programs bump against each other, but we can help them. And we're going to talk about this some after we leave this meeting today. But in an attempt to sit here and not cause any conflict between what you're doing, we are doing as a 2020 quarterback, and what we can do and should do as boosters is something we need to work together on.
That was one of the questions that came up in the, okay, Coach. Go sign up the last guys. Coach, nice to meet you. That was one of the questions that we're going to address when we get into addressing. And next week we're going to start that. We might have to start it offline, start addressing the questions that came up in the meeting of the minds. And by then I'll have talked to Ms. Suggs, so we'll have even more answers for you. But one of the main questions that came up was the relations of the complication of distinguishing between the boosters and the 220 Club and the National Rattler F, and I'll address that the best way that I can address it. Florida A&M University has one official direct support organization for athletics. That is the Rattler Boosters. The Eddie Jackson 220 Quarterback Club is a completely volunteer club that actually is not associated with the university, though it supports the university. That is the same for the National Rattler F Club. So while we are not under the auspices of the university, we support the university. But as far as the reporting for the athletics department, we would show up in lines, but in lines of donations. But as far as their budgeting and that sort of thing, only the Rattler Boosters is in there because it's the only official university DSO. That's the best I can explain it. We're all trying to assist the Department of Athletics. Mr. Jackson, a few years ago, found a niche of some retirees he was dealing with, and it started small, and before he knew it, it grew to what it is now, to where we are now. And we're just going to continue with that dream to continue to try to support Florida A&M while staying out of the way of Florida A&M in their official assignments. And I think you all have heard me say sometimes, well, we can't really do that because we're not a university organization. That holds true. And having worked at the university, I kind of know those boundaries, and I keep us out of the gray area. We want to continue to be a positive for our university, so we're going to stay out of that gray area. It's good the way we partner with the boosters for the nutrition. The boosters do most of the muscle milk, which is a undertaking itself, and we do food and that sort of thing. We partner, and so those paths do cross in order to make it work. But we have to continue to excel our side of the equation because, for example, the booster contributions are budgeted into the annual budget, what they expect to get from the boosters. Where we help our athletic department grow is what we donate because that's not accounted for. So everything we add is helping the revenue side of the equation. It's helping the resources side of the equation. So we're like the point guard throwing assists. Do we get an audit? Internally, we do audits, but we're not a DSO.
Which is what we've got to talk about, because what we need to do is do as much as we can to support the athletic department. And there are boundaries in there that we can operate together and give the boosters credit for what they are doing and give you credit for what we do. Because a lot of folks in here are boosters and we're 220 quarterbacks.
I'm a booster. Mr. Chambers, you got to be done by now. This close to the end. Is this close to your 1,000, Mr. Chambers? I got another. We got to check his. I think he's done. Thank you. Thank you for your diligence. And we will sit down with the 220 board, discuss and meet with the Rattler boosters, and try to figure a way to collaborate more that we can make sure that we help our university. That's the bottom line. Are there any other questions? Happy Black History Month. Wasn't it snowing this year? Okay. All right, if I could have every gentleman that's in here to please stop by and see me before you leave.